Alright, so I, unfortunately, am British. That might seem like a weird way to open a video, but I'm talking about the Supercars series in this video, so it's good to put that kind of pretense in there. I like watching all forms of motorsport. I have enjoyed V8 Supercars over the years. I think that they are just otherworldly. I mean, it was ever since, Gran Turismo 3 and seeing the Tickfords in there. So what I wanted to do is try to watch this season's Supercar series, especially because I did my top 100 drivers for last year. I put a couple of people from the Supercar series in there, but I wanted to act as if I was more of an expert this time around. So I've decided to sit down, I've watched the Sydney races, and want to talk a little bit about them as a Brit who is watching Supercars properly for the first time. And firstly, the 3 races as part of the Sydney 500 were all very different races. Even though Cameron Waters won all 3 of them and got pole position, they weren't lights to flag wins. And they were all in different kinds of styles, right? That's what I really liked. Was the first one was a bit more of a sprint. That was an out-and-out one. Now, you could argue that was probably helped by the fact that Brock Feeney was way down the order, and Will Brown also ended up struggling towards the end. So Chas Mostert was able to go through. I mean, Thomas Randall got a podium, right? But the second one, oh wow, that was an amazing finish. It was nice to see the almost sportsmanlike, gentlemanly behaviour. I mean, yeah. At the same time, Waters did throw a block to try and benefit himself after the incident, but it was fun to see. And that battle to the line, what was it, 300th of a second the gap? I'm so glad I didn't watch any of the highlights packages and decided to watch the full race when I got the chance to, because it was good. That was a good race in there. And the third one, in the day instead of the night, or the day to night, the race 2 was, but the rain came in. And that produced its own entertainment, right? Like, to see the rain coming in, to see it fall down, and to see drivers try to decide, do we gamble with going on the wets, do we stay on the slicks? A lot of people at the front stayed on the slicks, and it became almost undrivable near the end. But there was some great driving in there as well. And again, it was the likes of Chas Mostert coming through. Yeah, really helping out in the end for his team, for Walkinshaw and Andretti, but also the likes of Cam Waters performing really well for Tickford was really good for them. And I do have to admit, I do enjoy the Gen 3s, and I do like the way the cars look. Now, the previous generations, like the Gen 2s, I've enjoyed running in iRacing before. The Gen 3s are fun. They are very different things to the iRacing equivalent of the Gen 2. But they are a lot closer to the prior generations, right? Like, in terms of before the new gen supercar. So the ones, like I said, that I've grown up playing in these different racing games, Toga, Gran Turismo, it's a lot more like them. Though at the same time, to me, the main feeling I get from the Gen 3s and how they look, how they perform, is more like GT4s. And that might be a mistake on my part to think that they are like GT4s, but that's how they come across to me. I mean, it doesn't help the fact that both of them do have GT4 equivalents, and both of them look not dissimilar to those GT4 equivalents. And it produces this weird kind of place that it fits into the motorsport hierarchy, right? Because the Gen 3 supercars look like GT cars. They're driven like stock cars. And generally they're treated like touring cars. And it's this weird, complex identity that is part of what I enjoy about it, but it's possibly also part of what confused me about it, to the point that, you know, it's only 2025 when I'm starting properly watching them, and I've done, say, the iRacing special events in the Supercars before. I think the last thing I want to discuss is the format of the races. Now, it would be strange for a British guy, to be going over to Australia and going, you should be doing these this way. It almost feels like national trauma on both sides. But at the same time, this is why I threw the stock cars analogy in there and the GT analogy. Because to me, something like a Supercar series is touring cars. Like, in its purest form, it's driven like touring cars, it's on road courses, so I'd expect it to be a bit more like the BTTC. Instead, you've got 3 or 4 races, a lot of these events. I know Bathurst 1000 is its own unique beast. I think the Ben's got its Enduro this year as well. But because it's billed as like a 500, it has to be split up so that it covers that distance. So in the end, the format means that in terms of mileage, in terms of the amount of racing you're watching, it's a lot more similar to GT racing. I mean, they have pit stops. And I think that's part of what makes it difficult viewing for me. Not that I can't stay focused. It's great racing. You can have the battles going on. I mean, I watch NASCAR week in, week out, and I have done for the past few seasons now. The problem is then trying to fit in another series that has NASCAR-length races alongside watching NASCAR, alongside wanting to watch, you know, the WRC, the ERC, the BTCC, World RX if that starts back up, Formula 1 when that starts back up. So it's been fun to follow, and I probably will keep following it for the rest of the season. But I have to weigh up now. Since we're about to go into the Melbourne Grand Prix weekend, do I try to watch it alongside the Australian Grand Prix? I mean, I don't know when this review is necessarily coming out. It might come out after the Melbourne Super Sprint, for example. And I'm recording this 2 weeks after the Sydney 500. That's the amount of time it's taken me to go through, watch all these things, and be able to do these things, even though it's the stuff that I do want to do. I hope you understand kind of what I'm going at here. And if you feel the same about it, please do let me know in the comment section down below, because it's something that I don't know a lot of people who watch. So it would be cool to be able to speak to more people who watch it, just to see if those feelings, those sentiments are something that is shared in a way. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and joining, folks. Until next time, bye for now.